Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Well, I think at this point we can pretty safely say that the typical XRP holder throughout the entire world did not care much at all about the news that the SEC is appealing Ripple. Almost no one gives a damn. Why do I say that? Well, let's do a little bit comparison here. And by the way, in this video, I'm going to share with you perspective from, I believe, seven different XRP chart analysts. So this will be a very XRP heavy video here, which I think is certainly called for, given the news that broke the other day. But look, it's been over 24 hours since that news broke. It broke at about 4 p.m. Central Time, which is my time zone. At the time I'm recording this video, it is now, 5:14 p.m. Central Time. So we've had over 25 hours, actually, since that news broke. And what happened in the aftermath of that? Actually, before I even say that, let me just remind you that when we got the news that the SEC was suing Ripple out of nowhere in December 2020, that surprised everybody. Like, nobody could have foreseen that was coming. You know, the price of XRP dropped something like 80%. And it's not like there are a bunch of really long pauses in between this happening. It just went for it consistently. Right? That is not what we've seen with this. So first of all, we knew that an appeal could be coming. Unquestionably, I think at this point, I don't even know how you could argue the contrary, almost everyone holding XRP understood this is not something that changes the legal status of XRP. It's not going to change secondary market transactions for people like you and I. It is indeed the case that the SEC can only appeal transactions specifically pertaining to Ripple as cited in the original complaint from December of 2022. Period. I think most people get that, right? And we knew that an appeal could be coming, so people were like, when it happened. So what happened? Well, in the first roughly hour and a half, XRP dropped about 5%, from about 56 cents to about 53 cents. But ever since then, for the next now, close to 23 hours, XRP's mostly been just kind of moving sideways. Let me tell you something about mass panic. I've seen plenty of it over the last near 7 years I've been in crypto. It's not like scary news happens, people massively panic and they're selling everything, whatever asset is, has a scary story around it. It's not that they only sell for an hour and a half and like, I'm going to pause that panic. I don't feel fearful right now. And then like over a day passes and then the panic resumes. That's not how humans work, okay? If this were going to be way more disastrous, this particular news event, we would know it by now. It's been over a freaking day. In my mind, there's no question. It did a little bit of harm, which is in line with what I would have guessed. Maybe I would have guessed the percentage drop would have been a little higher, maybe even like 15%, but it was more like 5%-ish. Because the rest of the drop that you saw happened before the news broke, and it happened as the rest of the market was dropping. So it's not surprising. The other part of the drop, it had nothing to do with the news. The news wasn't out yet. This is not scary to me. I expected that some people would have an emotional response. Some people would want to bail. And a lot of them presumably just didn't know any better. And they can do whatever they want. If they didn't know about the legal status of XRP, whatever. It doesn't matter in the end. It could not be more obvious this is indeed the case. Now, I'm not saying that means XRP price can't drop more. Of course it can. What I'm saying is if it happens, at this point, it is not because of this news. Because, again, let me say it one more time. Humans don't behave like this. It's not the case. You get scary news, people panic for roughly an hour and a half, then they stop panicking for over a day, but now we're scared again. Like flipping a switch. That's not how human emotions work. It would have been certainly more persistent if it were going to drag on for over... Fine, if it were going to drag on for over a day, got it. Didn't happen. Clearly did not happen. In fact, look at this chart. Here's a 24-hour chart for XRP. It's mostly sideways. Yeah, we're down a little over 2% over the last 24 hours, but it's been mostly sideways price action. Here's the Bitcoin chart. Now, if you can look at your screen, it's worth it, because if you look at when the movements happened on the XRP chart and the Bitcoin chart over the same period of the last 24 hours, what you're going to notice is they were very samey. The XRP price movements, not really unique to XRP over the last 24 hours. You see as I flip back and forth how in terms of when the moves are happening, they look very similar. That's because what was happening was not a result of the appeal news, because almost nobody cares. I don't care. I don't think this is going to prevent us from having some sort of massive bull run. If we're going to have alt season, then I see no reason that XRP wouldn't participate. Because literally, for sure, it doesn't change anything about the legal status of XRP or secondary market transactions. Again, I got to repeat this. I got to beat this point home. The SEC can only appeal those transactions that pertain specifically to Ripple. So even in a reversal, the worst case scenario for Ripple, that doesn't hurt us. It still doesn't hurt us. So of course, market participants just don't give a damn. Here's this post though from Sentiment. And by the way, so like what we had last week, it was a fake out. With XRP, but not just XRP, the entire market. You know, Bitcoin was getting however high it got, 66, 67,000 bucks, whatever was that. XRP got as high as what, 66 cents. Market was going up. That was a fake out. Sometimes markets have fake outs, and we went back on down. This is not unique to XRP. And in fact, on-chain analytics from Sentiment was warning as that was happening that there was way too much optimism in the market, and usually whatever the crowd thinks is going to happen doesn't happen. So they put out a post last week about that. They're warning, hey, just so you know, market's a bit optimistic here. That can frequently be a bad thing in terms of price action. And so the bad thing happened. The whole market went back down. And what are they saying now? Well, here's a post from just this afternoon. They said, with Bitcoin retracing down 9.2% since $66,400 local high on September 27th, the crowd has cooled its excitement toward crypto considerably. This change in mood is encouraging, considering markets typically always move the opposite direction of the crowd's expectation. Wouldn't you know it? And it happened yet again. Surprise, surprise. Here we have a post from chart analyst Dr. Magic, and the first, this actually I did share last night, but I have something to add on from him, which is why I'm starting with this. But he wrote, this appeal doesn't really change anything for me. Obviously, previous week breakout failed, but other than that, it's still ranging in this 1.5-year reaccumulation range. 52 cents is lower time frame support, with green zone being higher time frame support. And so we're above that at this point. And he's saying for the higher time frame, we could go as low as something like 45, 46 cents. We're nowhere near that at this exact moment anyway. Now, if the rest of the market tanks, of course, again, XRP, of course it can go down. It will continue to move in tandem with the market. It's only a tiny bit lower than it would otherwise be if not for the appeal news. It doesn't matter. And I'm telling you this, when the excitement comes back and there's more liquidity pumping through the system and all that jazz, and there's euphoria, this won't matter. Nobody is going to give a damn, this XRP appeal news. It just doesn't matter. But not everybody gets that. And so somebody named Crypto Farsh wrote back to Dr. Magic and said, LOL, it will stay in that triangle and range until early 2026 when the case is over. That makes no sense. XRP does not move on its own. It never has. I mean, if you're talking about running to new highs or this or that, or going independent runs, the only exceptions you could find to that, they're very short-lived. I mean, there weren't ultimately something that was like a make or break thing for XRP. Even if you want to talk about when XRP dropped 80%, that clearly was not the end of XRP, as it then ran to $2. And it did that because the market was running. So it got as low as like 16 or 17 cents. Months later, it was $2. It just take it for what it's worth. And so think about that. An 80% drop several years ago, and it still ran that cycle 20-fold increase. Think about that. Last cycle, XRP went from 10 cents at its lowest to $2, a roughly 20-fold increase with that news. And you're telling me with this appeal news, which obviously the market is telling you it doesn't care. This is the global wisdom of all the XRP speculators saying, yeah, we don't really care. Or else XRP would have dropped way more on this news. Given that's the case, and XRP did a 20x last market cycle, are you really going to tell me with a straight face that if there's an alt season, XRP is just going to sit on the sidelines when very clearly almost nobody cares about this news? Like, come on, man. But anyway, so that was reposted by Dr. Magic, and here's what he said. Did you even read what the CEO of Ripple said? Probably not. CEO and attorney of Ripple said the appeal does not change the fact that XRP is not a security. Other lawyers in the space who do not work for Ripple said the exact same thing. From my understanding, right now, SEC is going after Ripple only, not Ripple and XRP. I really do not care about narratives. I care about charts. If this appeal was such a big thing, XRP would trade below 45 cents. And folks, that's why I started the video saying what I was saying, because I know this is still fresh in people's minds. XRP barely dropped on this news. If it were a bigger deal, we would have seen a much more precipitous drop. And we'd be crying about it today. And I'd be surprised. I mean, if it were something like 15%, 20%, I mean, that necessarily wouldn't surprise me. I'm surprised in the other direction. It dropped less than I would have guessed had I made a guess. And so Dr. Magic then says, chart is not worried equals I am not worried. Exactly. This is the market. It's the totality of humans that buy and sell XRP collectively screaming at you, yeah, we don't care about this appeal news. Now, they cared about the SEC lawsuit news in 2020, 4 years ago. Yup. Mark is like, yeah, this is terrifying. Don't know what's happening. Panic selling, down 80% roughly. Yes, market said they cared. And that's easy to understand why. Here, not only was it not a surprise, people were sufficiently informed to where almost nobody responded. So when he says chart is not worried equals I am not worried, yeah, same here. And he says XRP is still in a 7 years pattern. Whole market is about to break out. XRP is extremely likely to follow, which will cause the break out of a 7-year pattern, which would trigger violent move up, a domino effect. I'm still extremely bullish on XRP. So there you go. To sum it up, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. And then there's this from the blockchain backer. XRP price chart as SEC files appeal against Ripple. Price sits within support range looking ahead. And he linked to his video. So that's the name of his actual video. And I'm sure that some of you have seen this. If not, I do encourage you to check it out. I think it's like a 15-minute or so video. Now, I'm not going to regurgitate a bunch of TA because I try and do as little regurgitation of TA on this channel as possible because it's not what the purpose of my channel is, not even in videos where I talk about the markets. I keep that to a minimum anyway. But there were a few takeaways I wanted to share with you. And the blockchain backer is yet another analyst who doesn't think that this is some sort of, destroyer of XRP event with this appeal news. And so he said that there have been no technical breaks in the XRP chart to this point. And he says we're in a range right now, and we just need some more time to pass, basically, for it to play out. We're in the last phase of accumulation. He was talking about that in his video. And he says that, the drop in price yesterday, which, by the way, was only partially from the SEC appeal news, it has not broken the chart structure we find ourselves in right now. So what I'm saying is, to me, that seemed like a very clear acknowledgement that this isn't something that was a destroyer of XRP. It just didn't happen. And now with over 24 hours having passed, I don't know how anybody could argue that it is. Bring me a logical argument I've not seen. In fact, what I've seen from all the XRP chart guys that I follow are just like, yeah, it wasn't very big. It doesn't matter. The structure is still what it is. And to me, it's not surprising to read that from them because the part of the movement from the appeal news was minimal, truly, truly small. In fact, if the price of XRP moved as much as it did yesterday, but that news wasn't there to associate with it, nobody would be batting an eye at this. Be like, oh yeah, just kind of a bad day for XRP. Kind of happens. Just happens sometimes. But it wouldn't have been some sort of outlier where people are like, oh my God, I can't believe how much XRP dropped. Oh my God, cry, cry, cry. No, it would not have been that type of event. This is normal. So then there's also, this is from chart analyst Dom at TraderView 2, XRP. After a fierce false breakout last week, XRP is back trading within its 7-year triangle. Excluding any wicking, price can comfortably go down to 47 cents and stay within the formation. Give it a few more days and we likely start following the market again as usual. And so there again, yet another analyst being like, yeah, it's just kind of within this big ass triangle, which pretty much every analyst under the sun has highlighted their own version of, whether they want to drop back to last market cycle or 2 market cycles ago. We're still in this structure and waiting for the breakout. We're not at the apex yet, getting closer. And there we are. We just had a false breakout last week, but that happened at the same time Bitcoin had a false breakout. What's the problem here, folks? And I have not found a chart analyst that thinks that what happened yesterday was a break in XRP's price structure. So so that means the market doesn't think this is a problem, but are you going to think that's a problem then? You on your own? What about the collective nature of what the speculators think? I mean, did you find that compelling at all? Because I do. I mean, it should give you an idea of what would happen at least for the short term and perhaps this market cycle. Like in that, the news wasn't so bad that it would destroy the hopes we've had up to this point, right? I think that's pretty damn fair. Chart analyst E. Greg Crypto seems to very obviously share that type of sentiment. And so I want to share with you this. This is from Egary Crypto, XRP genuine wake-up line, micro moves, lower time frame update. End of the world. I get it. The SEC appeal might feel like the end of the world, but guess what? The chart has been signaling a retest was coming. My post from yesterday nailed it. I said, this is a quote from his previous post, I know you're tired of hearing retest, but listen up. The range of 54.28 cents to 53.75 cents is still in play. And by the way, he was talking about that range before that news broke. So he's like, yeah, this is kind of going to happen anyway. And it isn't disastrously below that. Again, we're over 52 cents as I record this video. So if it's the end of the world, then this is the best end of the world that I've ever seen. Like, okay, I'll take this. I mean, if it's the end of the world, oh, okay. And then he says, I've mentioned this before. Crypto moves 10 to 15% down or up from technical targets because the order book is thin, especially compared to traditional markets. This holds true for XRP and Bitcoin too. So what's next? Nothing has changed. XRP is still not a security. From a technical analysis perspective, the game plan is still rock solid. On a macro level, as long as XRP doesn't lose 28 cents, we've got nothing to worry about. And until XRP closes above 75 cents, don't expect a full-on bull run. We can still move downward to 43 cents, but nothing is changed on macro level. And there you go. This is the sentiment I keep seeing echoed from tons of XRP chart analysts. But it shouldn't be surprising, knowing how little the market moved on this news. It shouldn't be surprising that you're hearing this from XRP chart analysts. There was this post from Credible Crypto, and he was talking about XRP priced against Bitcoin, warning that there's a chance it could go a little bit lower here. So he wrote, the XRP BTC chart is hovering some 5 to 10% above the ideal higher time frame buy zone. Not sure if we get that zone now or later, but mark it off on your charts because I think we will get a very nice reaction off of it if/when it does get tested. So you'd have to look at the screen if you want to see the exact zone, but he's warning, yeah, it could go a little bit lower. He would buy, though, at that particular level. He thinks that would be a signal that it makes sense to actually buy XRP. And it's not guaranteed we're even going to get this. Now, also, for much of the last week, Credible Crypto had been warning that we were going to see this pullback that we did see, so certainly credit where it was due. Now, on higher time frame, big picture, he still firmly believes, yes, we're going to be rocketing up to the way to the upside for Bitcoin, broader crypto market, including XRP. He still thinks we're going to hit at least $10 for XRP. Nothing has changed here. But he was expecting this pullback, which XRP has been a part of. This is not the end of the world. Then we have this. This is from chart analyst Crypto Michael, and he said XRP pennant support at 45 cents, which is the yellow line on your screen there. He says, if you believe in XRP, that is where you buy. If it fails, it could get ugly. Okay, so that's kind of a close level to what I've seen from other chart analysts here, but we haven't had a break in structure. Just point, I haven't seen it, again, not one single analyst say, the chart's broken now. Here's another post from Crypto Michael. My gut is telling me to hedge my entire portfolio. The market is at a point where it's basically bounce or die after last week's bull trap. With all the current external factors, there could be a panic dump before Bitcoin is ready for the rally to $100,000. So again, and I have seen this from a number of analysts warning, not everybody agrees on this, but there could be a drop. And I'm just saying, if that happens, XRP will be a part of it. And I'm sure there's going to be someone out there saying, yep, it's because of the appeal. Well, not if the entire market's dropping at exactly the same time. Not if the market only dropped for an hour and a half after the news, and then for over a day moved sideways. No, that is not the news doing that. That is not how humans work. There's also this post from chart analyst Dark Defender, and he said, the SEC appeal is a pure blunder and will separate the 1% from the entire population with a poor mindset. Nothing has changed for Ripple and XRP. The price is not dependent on this lawsuit, as we analyzed before. There you go. And that is correct. Whatever happens with this appeal does not matter for XRP. Either XRP is going to run or it's not going to run, but this is not going to be the reason. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.